This is why people don't lose weight. They always tell you, eat less and move more. You do it and nothing changes. But the problem is that no one asks you the real question. Why isn't your body letting go of the weight? When it seems like you're doing everything right, there might be the same hidden cause reappearing over and over. And this is the reason why fat loss doesn't happen, even when you're doing everything correctly, which I know is very frustrating. It's very common for those who can't lose weight to have at least one or two of these causes, and some might have more than two. And once you've addressed those causes, you can lose weight by eating more food than you did before when you were gaining weight. In this video, I'll explain the 10 most common reasons why people can't lose weight. Some will surprise you. And the diet code, which I'll share with you, will completely change the way you approach fat loss. Hello, for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Margarita. I'm not a dietitian, a nutritionist, or a food scientist. I'm an expert in healthy habits and healthy cooking aimed at getting back in shape and staying there over time. In short, I like to know what every food I put in my cart and on my plate does to my body, and that's what I share. How to better choose what to put in your shopping cart, why, and how to turn it into tasty and nutritious meals. My videos are not intended to be a substitute for medical advice, but only to give you awareness of the effect that food and habits have on your body and your well-being. Because awareness makes us reflect and helps us choose what is best for us, instead of leaving the choice to chance, the supermarket, or the food industry. So let's not waste time and get started. The first one you won't like, but it's alcohol. If you're serious about losing fat, the best choice is not to drink at all. The absolute worst choice is cocktails, which, in addition to all the damage from alcohol, are full of sugars and carbohydrates that multiply the harm. Now I'll give you 5 reasons to stop drinking if you really want to lose weight. The first reason is that alcohol provides empty calories. Alcohol contains 7 calories per gram, almost equivalent to the caloric density of fat, which is 9 calories per gram. So I ask you this, would you drink a can of fat? You'd probably say no. For example, you're carefully following a meal plan from Monday to Friday. Then on the weekend, you drink the equivalent of 5 cans of fat because you go out with friends for an aperitif or out to dinner with your partner, or you have a drink at home to relax in front of the TV. You won't see the results you want. It's that simple. Number 2, alcohol slows down your metabolism. The moment you drink, your body will prioritize burning the alcohol first because it recognizes it as a foreign toxin. This means that extra fats and carbohydrates are stored instead of being burned because your body is focused on eliminating the alcohol. Third, it also blocks fat burning. Alcohol suppresses fat burning for 12 to 36 hours, which means you can lose up to 2 days of fat loss after a single night of drinking. Number 4, it alters your body's natural hunger signals. A single cocktail is equivalent to about 300 to 500 calories. It's like eating even when you're not hungry, right? This makes it almost impossible to stay in a calorie deficit. And number 5, it damages muscle growth. Alcohol interferes with muscle recovery and repair, making your workouts and efforts in the gym useless. Reason number 2 why you're not losing weight is what some call the diet code. When you say, I've tried every diet but nothing works, it's not actually your fault. Here's why. There are 2 forces working against you, your biology and your accuracy. First, biology. The moment you cut calories, your body reacts with something called metabolic adaptation. Your metabolism slows down, sometimes by as much as 500 calories a day, and it can stay low for years. This is why diets that work at first often stall later. And the second reason is accuracy. Most people think losing weight is just about eating less, but here's the truth. Your body has a code. Until you crack it, fat loss won't unlock. Think of it like a lock on a bag. If you set the code on this bag to 3323, and then you type 324, you're almost there, but it doesn't open. And dieting is the same thing. Your body has a unique combination of protein, carbs, and fats that triggers fat loss. And if you miss it, your progress will stop. So stay with me because I'll help you understand where the problem lies. This is what makes everything harder. European regulations, as well as American ones, allow food labels to have an error of up to 20% regarding estimated calories. So when you think you're eating 2,000 calories, you might actually be eating 2,400. You might grab a protein bar and the label says 200 calories, but it could actually be 240. And that's why so many people swear they're in a calorie deficit, but the scale doesn't move. So what's the solution here? Precision, precision, precision. How can you achieve it? I can give you some suggestions. Calculate your macronutrients properly, as I've explained many times, using a program or by consulting a specialist. Then keep your protein high. If your condition allows it, at least 1 gram per kilo of body weight. But as always, adapt it to your lifestyle and hormonal phase. Simplify your meals by eating mostly the same foods, so you can calculate the correct macros for each food just once, and this will eliminate guesswork. This way you won't have variations in your daily caloric intake. Whereas if you change foods continuously, you can't be sure without precise and thorough calculations. But if you eat the same foods for at least a week, you can be certain and say, okay, am I losing weight? Am I maintaining? Or am I gaining? Remember that dieting is not about starving yourself. It's about deciphering your code, what works for you, working with your biology instead of against it. The next reason why people often don't lose weight is the gut microbiota. For years, weight loss was explained as simple math, calories in versus calories out. But only recently has it been discovered that there's a third player in this equation, your gut and the microbes within it, which silently decide how much energy you actually absorb. Imagine this. There are 2 houses burning the same wood, the same logs, and the same stove. But one has leaks everywhere, the wind gets in, heat escapes through the cracks. The other is airtight, perfectly insulated, and retains almost all the heat. Your gut works the same way. The quality and balance of the microbes inside your gut determine whether your food provides you with energy efficiently or if your energy is dispersed into fat storage, cravings, and hunger. And science is catching up. In 2025, the journal NPJ published a study on the impact of probiotic fibers on body weight, metabolic regulation, and digestive function. It was a randomized controlled trial, the best type of study we can have, conducted for over 90 days. The people who took the probiotic fiber mix lost significantly more weight, reduced more inches from their waistline, and decreased fat mass more than those who took a placebo. So here's how you can actually solve this problem. You should aim for a daily fiber intake between 25 and 35 grams depending on age and sex, from vegetables like artichokes, asparagus, and foods like Brussels sprouts. You should also include legumes like lentils and chickpeas at least 3 times a week. You should also increase your consumption of fermented foods, 1 serving a day, for example, Greek yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi. And there's something most people don't know. Try to avoid artificial sweeteners completely. They can wipe out beneficial bacteria as quickly as antibiotics. Stick to whole foods for 30 days and watch how your hunger changes. When your gut is in balance, hunger becomes more manageable, energy remains constant, and fat loss happens naturally. But speaking of balance, let me tell you about the next factor, which can completely undo everything we've just discussed: hormones. Most people blame willpower when fat loss stalls, but sometimes it's the hormones silently driving the process, especially after the age of 30. Take menopause, for example. When estrogen levels drop, the way the body stores fat also changes. Menopausal women tend to accumulate more abdominal fat, especially visceral fat, the kind that surrounds the organs, even if their overall weight remains the same. This is why many notice stubborn belly fat for the first time during middle age. Now there's good news. There are strategies that work. Weight training to maintain muscle mass, a higher protein intake to support metabolism, and smart nutrition to manage calories. There are also clinical conditions related to hormones that affect abdominal and visceral fat. For example, polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS. It's one of the most common hormonal conditions in women and one of the biggest obstacles to weight loss. Women with PCOS often produce higher levels of androgens, male hormones like testosterone. This hormonal imbalance interferes with ovulation, increases cravings, and makes it extremely difficult to lose fat. Furthermore, this condition is strongly linked to insulin resistance. This means that when a woman eats carbohydrates, her body has to produce more insulin to handle them. And higher insulin levels push the body to store fat instead of burning it. So it's a double whammy: more fat storage and fewer signals to burn it. Another possible cause is thyroid problems, which can play a significant role. When thyroid hormones are low, the metabolism slows down by hundreds of calories a day, leaving you tired, cold, and stuck. In men, on the other hand, low testosterone creates a real nightmare. Less muscle mass, more abdominal fat, and slower recovery from workouts. It's a downward spiral that gets worse over time. So if you're doing everything right but nothing is happening, get a comprehensive hormone test to see if this could be your case. And then get followed and supported by an experienced doctor. Don't get discouraged, because very often it's not a lack of discipline. It's that your body is simply working with broken equipment. The next factor is sleep. And here's the irony. Some people would rather do a 3-day fast or extra hours of cardio than simply fix their sleep routine. But if you don't sleep, fat loss becomes an uphill battle. Think of sleep as charging your phone. You can have the latest iPhone, the best apps, all the features, but if the battery is dead, nothing works. Your workout, your diet, your supplements, everything depends on how you sleep. The science is clear. Adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Go below that, and things start to break down quickly. Hunger hormones change, cravings go crazy, the body burns fewer calories just to keep you active. I've been there too. I used to think sleep was a waste of time. I grew up with the usual cliches, the early bird catches the worm. We'll rest when we're dead, aimed at making those who value sleep and its quality feel guilty and lazy. But since I understood how much it really matters and started taking care of its length and quality, everything has changed. Here's the solution. Protect your sleep like you protect your workouts, your food choices, or the things you really care about and for which you create an inviolable space. Set a screen time limit, phone and computer. Keep the room dark and cool, and aim for consistency. A very big difference comes when you set a non-negotiable bedtime. Not just a wake-up time, meaning you decide that every night at X time you will go to bed and prepare with a specific routine about an hour before. To wake up at Y time after at least 7 hours of quality sleep. When you sleep really well, everything becomes easier. You make better food choices, you have more energy, and your body finally responds to all the work you're doing. So don't waste time, sleep. The next factor is stress. It's sneaky, and not just mental, it's also physical. When you're stressed, your body fills with cortisol, the stress hormone. Now short bursts of stress are fine, they're for dealing with deadlines or emergencies. But when stress becomes your constant state, cortisol stays high and everything changes. High cortisol increases hunger, especially for junk food, and slows down your metabolism. It drains your energy, destroys muscle, and makes you store fat. 2017 study that followed adults for 6 months found that people with chronic stress gained significantly more weight while following the same diet as those with low stress levels. Your stress is literally adding pounds to your life. You can't eliminate stress, but you can manage it better. Try a simple 5-minute evening shutdown routine. No phone, no work. Just write in a journal what went well today and what you're grateful for. It sounds too simple to work, but clearing your mind by putting thoughts on paper is a real game changer. You sleep better, you're less hungry, and you reduce stress eating. The next factor is movement. I'm not talking about working out at the gym. Here's the difference. Your workout session might burn 300 to 500 calories, but what you do in the other 23 hours of the day can easily burn double or triple that. Scientists call it non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT. It's every step you take, every time you stand up, even how much you fidget while sitting. And the incredible thing is that two people of the same size can differ by up to 2,000 calories burned per day just because of movement. It's the difference between steady fat loss or a complete stall. Don't overcomplicate it. Just track your steps, get up every hour, walk after meals. Sometimes it's not about pushing harder in the gym, but simply moving more outside of it. To track these parameters, you just need a fitness tracker. Even an inexpensive one that counts steps and gives you a reminder if you've been sitting still for too long. Fat loss isn't built in that 1 hour you work out, but in the other 23. The next factor concerns environmental toxins. The next topic is obesogens, and this surprises many people because it's not about food or exercise, but about the chemicals that surround you every day. Obesogens are substances found in materials like plastic, pesticides, and even household products, which can interfere with hormones and metabolism. BPA, found in plastic bottles, is one of the most well-known. A study published in the Journal of Environmental Health Perspectives found that higher exposure to BPA is linked to a higher body mass index, more body fat, and a larger waistline, even when diet and physical activity were identical. And now you might be wondering, okay, but why does this happen? Because these chemicals can mimic hormones, pushing the body to create more fat cells while also slowing down the rate at which you burn calories. And it's not just BPA. Phthalates, often found in food packaging and cosmetics, have also been linked to weight gain and insulin resistance. This doesn't mean that chemicals alone will make you gain weight overnight, but they do tilt the playing field against you. So what's the solution? You don't have to live in a bubble, but small changes can reduce your exposure. Use glass or stainless steel instead of plastic for storing and drinking. Wash fruits and vegetables well to reduce pesticide residues. Avoid heating food in plastic containers. For example, I prefer glass in the microwave. These changes don't replace the basics: diet, exercise, and sleep, but they can remove another invisible brake that's holding you back. Because sometimes it's not just about what's on your plate, but also what your plate is made of. Nutritional deficiencies are the hidden brakes that most people never consider. You can manage calories and macronutrients perfectly, but if you're lacking key nutrients, your metabolism won't cooperate. Almost half of adults are deficient in vitamin D, magnesium, and omega-3 deficiencies are also very common. These aren't nice-to-have nutrients. They are essential for burning fat. Here's the proof. Researchers took people deficient in vitamin D and gave them high-dose supplements along with their diet. After 12 weeks, the vitamin D group lost significantly more fat and had lower levels of inflammation than those on the same diet without vitamin D. A single nutrient made a huge difference. Magnesium is what many call the spark plug of metabolism. Without it, energy production slows to a crawl. Omega-3 self-control inflammation, and when inflammation is high, the body tends to store fat as if preparing for a war. The solution is not to create further restriction, but simply to improve nutrition. Focus on nutrient-dense foods, wild salmon and other fatty fish twice a week, leafy greens in your meals, nuts for example, 5 almonds, seeds, and eggs. Get 15 to 20 minutes of sun a day for natural vitamin D. Here's something interesting. Leave mushrooms in direct sunlight for an hour, and they will naturally produce vitamin D, a real supplement factory from nature. Your body isn't just a calorie-counting machine. It's a complex system that needs the right fuel to run efficiently. The next factor. This is one that most people don't expect. Some prescription drugs can silently cause weight gain, not because you eat more, but because they change how your body handles food, hunger, and fat storage. An example is antidepressants. Many of the most common ones can increase appetite, slow metabolism, and lead to weight gain over time. Beta blockers, often used for high blood pressure, reduce energy and daily activity, causing you to burn fewer calories. Steroids and antipsychotics can directly alter hormones, shifting them towards fat storage. And it's not a minor effect. Research shows that some drugs can cause 2 to 14 kilos of weight gain in the first year alone. For someone trying to lose fat, it can feel like an uphill battle. You're doing everything right, but you're fighting against chemistry that's working against you. How to handle this situation? The first step is awareness. If you've started a new medication and your weight suddenly changes, talk to your doctor. Sometimes there are alternatives with fewer side effects or strategies to manage them. But never stop a medication on your own. And if this is your case, don't blame yourself. It's not weakness, it's chemistry. And the first step is knowing what you're up against. Talk to your primary care physician or your specialist. And these are 10 reasons why people struggle to lose weight. The purpose is not to overwhelm you, but to show you where the real obstacles are, because once you know them, you can finally do something to remove them. Fix your sleep, manage your stress, find your diet code. Even small changes, if directed towards the right goals, add up and make a big difference. If this video was helpful to you, share it with anyone you know who could benefit from it. The more the merrier on this journey to get back in shape and live better and longer. Losing weight and fat is not complicated. It's not impossible. Now you know why and what the obstacles are. I'm always by your side, even when you don't see me. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.